Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're jumping into a real-life medical detective story. It's all about a condition that can take a simple infection and turn it absolutely deadly, and more importantly, the super smart three-point checklist that helps catch it before it's too late. Let's get right into it.
So right off the bat, here's the central question. One of these is a key clue in the modern, super fast way to check for sepsis. The others? Well, they're part of an older way of doing things. Now, don't worry if you don't know the answer just yet, because by the time we're done here, you'll know exactly which one it is. And, just as important, why.
Okay, first things first, let's define our main subject, sepsis. And this modern definition is really, really important. See, it's not the infection itself that's the main problem. It's the body's completely haywire, over-the-top response to that infection. A response so chaotic, it starts damaging its own organs. That whole phrase, life-threatening organ dysfunction, that's exactly why speed is everything here. Now, to really appreciate the breakthrough of the new tool we're talking about, we have to take a quick look back at what came before it. Because this story isn't just about a new checklist, it's about a complete shift in how we even think about finding sepsis in the first place. For years and years, the go-to tool was something called the SIRS criteria. That stands for Systemic Inflammatory Response Syndrome. Basically, doctors and nurses would look for at least two of these four signs. A weird temperature, a really high heart rate, breathing too fast, or a white blood cell count that's way off. It seems logical, right? If there's an infection, look for signs of inflammation. But, and this is a big but, there was a huge problem. That SIRS net, it was cast way too wide and it was full of holes. It could flag someone who just had a bad case of the flu as possibly having sepsis, a total false alarm. And even worse, it could completely miss a patient whose body was quietly, insidiously slipping into organ failure. With a condition this deadly, you just can't afford to be wrong. So all of that led to this massive turning point back in 2016. It was called the Third International Consensus, but pretty much everyone just calls it Sepsis 3. And believe me, this wasn't just some small update. It was a complete, ground-up rethinking of the entire problem. And this right here really captures the huge change in strategy. The focus totally shifted. We went from just looking for general inflammation, which, can happen for a million different reasons, to hunting for the real danger signal. Actual, hard evidence that the body's organs are starting to fail. It's like we stopped looking for the smoke and started looking for the fire itself. Sepsis 3 also did some house cleaning with the language. They got rid of the term severe sepsis. And this wasn't just about being tidy, it was to hammer home the point that sepsis isn't some simple ladder you climb. No. The thinking is now, if you have an infection and your organs are starting to malfunction, you are in immediate danger. Full stop. So with this new way of thinking, this intense focus on organ dysfunction, you're going to need a new tool, right? And that solution is the qSOFA score. Now, the qSOFA actually has a bigger, more complicated older brother, which is just called the SOFA score. Think of the SOFA score as the full, heavy-duty diagnostic panel that specialists use in the ICU. It tracks everything: liver function, kidney output, the whole shebang. It's incredibly detailed, but it is not fast. And you just don't have time for all that in a chaotic emergency room or in the back of an ambulance. You need something you can do right now. So researchers basically distilled the absolute essence of that big SOFA score into a rapid-fire version, the quick SOFA, or qSOFA. Okay, and this brings us right to the heart of it. The beauty of the qSOFA score is its simplicity. It relies on just 3 key signs that you can check in seconds, and you don't need a single lab test. So we are finally ready to answer that question from the beginning. The very first sign is a rapid respiratory rate. So we're looking for a patient who's taking more than 22 breaths per minute. This is a classic telltale sign that the body is in serious distress, that it's struggling to get enough oxygen in and clear carbon dioxide out. The second sign is any change in mental status. And we're not just talking about feeling a little tired. This is real confusion, extreme drowsiness, maybe even agitation. And this is just a brilliant sign of organ dysfunction in action. It's a direct signal that the brain isn't getting the properly oxygenated blood that it desperately needs. And the third and final sign is a low systolic blood pressure, so that top number being less than 90. This points directly to a failing cardiovascular system. The pump that's supposed to be delivering that life-sustaining blood to every single one of your vital organs is starting to fail. So, let's circle all the way back to our original question.
Which of these is included in the qSOFA score? Well, as we've just seen, the correct answer is C, altered mental status. Heart rate, temperature, and leukocyte count, those were all part of the old SIRS criteria. Mental status is one of the 3 core pillars of the faster, smarter qSOFA score. But at the end of the day, whether you're using SIRS or qSOFA, the goal is exactly the same. And this quote from the source material really says it all. All of these tools are designed to do one thing and one thing only: identify the patient as fast as humanly possible. Because with sepsis, every single minute counts. And that really just leaves us with one final thought. The qSOFA score is such a powerful example of taking a really complex, scary problem and boiling it down to its most essential, life-saving parts. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other medical emergencies are out there just waiting for their own elegant 3-point checklist? Thanks for tuning in.